Welcome back to Civ Tactics, guys. Today we're going to talk about how to properly disguise yourself in the woods. If that's a hunting situation, just for fun learning, in a situation where you actually need to use this to hide if you're trying to get away from something. That's all issues that could be happening. I'm going to be showing you where to hide, what kind of coverage you want to use, how shoes matter, how your skin can give you away at any spot you'd like. Um, We're going to talk about all that today. We're also going to go over wind patterns in the sun, how it shifts when we're hiding, and why it's not a good idea maybe to just lay in the sun. Maybe find some darker areas under some shade that'll give us coverage while the sun moves. Um, so, okay, we're back out here. Today we're going to talk about how we can hide and how we can evade stuff, even if that's for hunting. Animals can see very well. We're going to talk about how this is like the best time to be out here. It's windy, as you can tell. It helps mask your movement. We're going to talk about how the sunlight can give you away completely. It makes you look like a brighter image. We're going to talk about how this skin, compared to when this is down, changes drastically when you're hiding. We're going to talk about all this stuff today and how this can change how you hide and how this can give away. The scent, we also are going to talk about that if you're hunting. The wind's blowing this way right now. My scent's going that way. So maybe don't hide somewhere where you're on this side over here and something can smell you over here if it's an animal, a tracking dog, any kind of sort of thing like that. All right, the first thing we're going to go over today is how the sun can make you pop a lot more. As you can tell, see how my arm's popping in the sun right here? If I step over here, it's a little bit more shaded, as you can tell. How it makes me look darker. It's harder to see stuff that is darker to the human eye. That's why when it gets dark outside, we can't see anything. We're going to talk about that. Wind movements, I talked about that a little bit a minute ago. Wind movements can help a lot. I mean, this leaf suit is moving already. You can see that. And that can help you hide if you really want to. We are talking about wind patterns right now. You see how this leaf is moving with this and how all of this is moving together? That is a very good way to master your movement. See how my hands are moving down here? If I had camo gloves, actually, it is a lot harder to see this hand movement comparably because this is covered and this wind is helping with natural movements around here, as you can tell. And I'll go, all right, guys, we're going to show the difference between the sun. As you can tell, it's a little sunny right now in this area. The wind is moving the clouds, so we can't drastically tell, but it is sunny right now. See, you can tell how much the skin is popping off my arm. Where comparably, if we move to somewhere that's a little bit more shaded, it really changes how our outcast goes. We get an outcast of our shadow a lot more. As you can tell, my hands glow up. Our whole suit glows. We're not that good in the sun, honestly, right now. All right, guys. Now we're in a spot that's more shaded. Even if I'm not camouflaged, as you can tell, my arm does not glow anymore. My shadow is not very eminent. I'm in a darker place. Would I recommend this? No, because we're behind a tree. But this is how you can show how shadowing and colors in the sun can completely change your area depending on where you are. All right, guys, welcome to the spot. This is the spot I'm going to use for all the demonstration photos. As you can tell, this is not a very good hiding position or hat. My hands are out. No, I look like I'm going to be a Vogue model in a minute. But we're going to about to overlap some pictures on here to show you the difference. Now, if I was sitting, let's say, with black shoes on, it would be very different than my brown boots, as you can tell right now. If I was sitting different, it would very much drastically change how I hide. If I'm sitting up, if I'm sitting down, how if I'm tucked behind the trunk will help shade me more. How this natural movement, pan over, you see this natural movement of the weeds, how the wind's blowing? That makes my suit work with that. If I have to move, I can totally change that. So we're gonna show pictures about this, guys, real quick, and I'm gonna demonstrate what we're doing. All right, guys, I'm actually laying in this spot right now. Um, the closer she gets, it's gonna be easier to see. But I'm showing you how I'm just laying here, nothing barely over me, maybe one branch, and I'm showing how the wind and the shadows are actually hiding myself pretty decently. If you were just walking by and not trying to hunt for me, I would be pretty hidden unless you're like specifically looking out for me. Um, yeah. All right, guys, now we are looking at how if you have your arms out and you have your head up, how much easier it is to spot me. You guys are walking up on me right now, and I'm moving around, I have my hands up. showing my arms. I'm letting that little bit of brightness actually reflect off of me, and my hat's not blending in as well either because I'm at a higher stature now. Um, but that's kind of showing you guys how the simple things of blending in, covering your arms, laying down, wearing gloves, that little stuff blends in so much better out here than doing this. All right, guys, now I have the black shoes beside my feet, and you will be able to see much quicker how the brown, darker shoes other than black, more earth toned shoes help a lot with hiding. And it really will give you away, if I'm honest with you, wearing black shoes because it's not a natural tone. The earth isn't black; it has different tones. Green, tan boots are usually the most versatile good boots for this, but this is just a demonstration to show you. All right, guys, this is exactly showing you how your height can make you completely change. I mean, if I was just laying down there, it's a lot more disguised. I have this natural coverage. I have these wind moving that could throw their eyes off. If I'm just sitting here, I look a lot more open. I look like a bigger target. I look more natural. The human body doesn't really look that natural in the wilderness because we have wide shoulders and a small head, and we have to disguise that. We have to make ourselves look as much of like a flat surface, honestly. So us sitting up, moving our hands, having our skin out, having a hat on does help break it up also. But just that little bit of stuff, like me just sitting here like this in a bush, I'd expect you to find me because I'm just looking out here. I look like a very odd object in nature. Um, and humans, we first look for movement, then we look for colors, and then we look for shapes. And the way the eye works is we go through those three steps. And so if I'm sitting here still, maybe you wouldn't see me at first because I'm still, but then you're going to kick in and you're going to look at for color. Now, these black shoes beside me, they stick out in the nature. Why would there be black shoes on here? There's no reason for them to be on here. And the third thing is my shape. I'm wearing, look, I don't look like a plant. I don't look like the grass. I look like a human sitting here, which is very odd to the human eye because we can spot that very well. But that's exactly why you guys can spot squirrels and stuff, even if they're moving. You see how they move, you see them, but when they stop, they don't. Our eyes are so keen on movement that when it's windy, it helps us, yes, but if you move around too much, you're going to get spotted very easily. And we're going to have other videos talking about masking that and sitting down in closed positions that can help let you move around a little bit if you have to take a shot. But this video is demonstrating how you can ghillie yourself, or this is a leaf suit, this isn't even a ghillie, and you can hide in pretty well areas that if you were just walking by patrolling, you probably wouldn't have seen me, honestly, because you wouldn't have looked over here. You wouldn't have saw my movement. This is all moving. I'm in a dark area. I'm covering my natural color, honestly. All of that stuff is very important when we are disguising ourselves and we are trying not to be found. And that's about it. This is a great example of how black can really show off in the wilderness. I dropped my glove here. I didn't even notice I dropped it. I turned around and I saw the black inside of this glove, and that is a very, very big thing. Now, if I had this and I just had it was flipped over, this isn't perfect, but that is a lot harder to mask, especially if you're walking above it. Where when it's flipped over with the black side out, you can definitely see that glove a lot more. And that's very prevalent. That's like putting the microphone on the ground or the bottom of this hat. This bottom of this hat is very noticeable in the wilderness. But yeah, that's all I have for you. All right, this is the end of the video, guys. I want to first of all thank you for watching through the video. Thank you for looking at my information. Um, we're gonna go over a summary of what we talked about in this video. We talked about how the eye picks up certain things like movement. It goes movement, color, shape. That's how it always has. That's why you see a squirrel run, and when it stops, it's kind of hard to see, because he naturally blends in, but he is moving. Even if I'm hiding in a bush and I move, you're going to be able to see that's unnatural. We also went over how the human stagger is different than nature. I don't look like something in the nature, sadly. We have large shoulders with a smaller head. Most animals do, and it's harder for them to disguise. That's why bugs. Have you seen bugs that they're flat? That's why they're easier to disguise, or snakes because they're long and flat. So we have to really break up our body shape. We can't look like a human when we're trying to hide, and we want to look flat as possible and laid out like this. We want to be a flat object. And then we talked about colors. We don't want to sit in the sun. The sun will give you away like crazy. Well, first of all, it's hot. And second of all, it will give you away. It'll make your colors pop. This suit doesn't match perfectly to this environment. No suit perfectly matches unless you make it with that environment. But we want to show that even if it doesn't match, you can still very effectively hide. If I was sitting there and somebody walked across right there, I doubt if they didn't know I was there, they could not find me very easily. At least they'd have to patrol a lot. Um, and we're going to make other videos talking about how we can train ourselves to spot these kinds of things, how we can move and still be able to hide using our coverage. Florida has so much large plants like palmettos and honestly, like larger sprawled out plants that we can actually hide really effectively in Florida. And especially since it's so flat, we do not stick out in the mountains. Is that a good thing? Yes and no. We could hide behind mountains, but in Florida, that's our whole point of flat stature. Um, in Florida, you want to be flat. You want to be kind of close to your colors, which honestly here is about green, maybe a little tan, and dirt. And we want to minimize our movement. A windy day is your best friend. Wind, I know when you're shooting can screw you up, but when you're trying to hide, this leaf suit's moving with these bushes. So your little movements might not look as big. The hardest days are the dead flat days when there's sun everywhere, no clouds, no wind. That's the days that we're going to struggle out here. And I advise you guys to go out and practice during the flat days, practice during the windy days. Get your buddies to come hunt for you out in the woods. It's all fun, it's all training. This is a lot of fun, but I want you guys to apply this knowledge and learn how to do this correctly. If that means from hunting standpoint, if that's to learn how to survive, if that's just playing fun games with your kids on your property, that's all this is about. But thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video. This is Civ Tactics.